Hey, everybody. Wow, I'm back after 2 months of touring around the US.
Welcome
20,
back.
yeah, 26 different states, 33 plus alien contact events. And I've been living in my car for 2 months.
Whoa.
And I arrived back 2 hours ago. And it's like, wow, this is what it feels like to be inside a building again.
I bet it's nice. I bet it was nice pulling up, seeing the home.
It was very nice, but I'm pretty exhausted. So I think it's going to be a day or two until I can really appreciate it. How are
Well, I
you
can
doing
tell you,
today,
I'm
Laura?
doing great. I want to say congratulations. That was a great tour. It really was.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. Now, I don't know if people are going to be able to hear it today, but yeah, my woodpeckers are back, trying to burrow holes into my room outside. Yeah, I guess me being away for 2 months has let all the animals encroach upon my home. So I'm sorry if you hear banging. If you hear knocking in the background, it's not spirits trying to connect with us or Bigfoot. It's just woodpeckers. Well, let's start, Laura, because we're going to talk about we met up for maybe about 3 days,
Yes.
and we had some fun experiences. What stands out to you about the time that we had during that tour?
Well, I'll tell you two things actually really do stand out. The first was meeting you. That stood out for me. You're an incredible person, I have to say. Yes, I don't think you're quite human, but you're great. But what was following you when we started talking later on within that evening, the whole home was filling up with beings coming through. They were just coming in, it was amazing energy. And then the second thing was a good, what I want to call, he to me is a great connection. We're actually, I feel like we're really becoming friends. And that is with an Eben, and his name is Jean-Luc. And that experience there in that house, that was something too.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
I can't explain this. His story is crazy, but the way it came together, it's profound.
yeah. Well, let's talk about those two things sort of one step at a time. So I'd only been there for I think a few minutes probably, and you said there are beings coming in next to me, and there were three, I think, that you saw and were able to identify fairly quickly. Which three beings was it that you saw?
There's the Even, and then there is the reptilian, and there was a tall white, an actual tall white. The
Yeah.
tall white was kind of wanted to be back, didn't want to be approached, but was presently there. And when I wanted to ask a question, it literally went around the corner and down the hall. But the reptilian was pretty funny. He kind of laughed a few times, and the way I could sense the energy of his laugh, it was like, it was weird. It was great. It was like a vacation with a bunch of friends. It really was.
Yeah,
The way it
humans
was
and
happening.
non-humans.
Yes, yes. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. But yeah, and then there was the Eben. Jean-Luc was there, and I knew he was around me, but he wasn't really showing himself. But when you came in, he was like, "All right." It was like an instant, "Let's do this." You guys
Yeah,
are together. And that's what it
right.
felt like. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff, so you guys need to be ready for the ride.
Yeah, it was like, okay, Rupert's here now. Let's get to work.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do a little bit of explaining for our audience about Ebens. There was a Majestic 12 document leaked. It's got the title SOM1-1, and it's a fairly early document that explains what Majestic 12 is and why Majestic 12 has been formed. It gives an overview of two of the species that they knew about at the time, and it's a document that explains what to do in case of discovery of alien craft or aliens. And in the document, they used the acronym EBE for extraterrestrial biological entity, and they talk about EBE1 and EBE2. The EBE1 that they talk about in that document, they describe the EBE1s as looking almost human, like you could mistake them. It says for I think it says for an Oriental, Asian person, and they're a little shorter than regular humans, and their heads are a little bit bigger, their eyes are a little bit bigger and different.
But they had the whites. You could see the whites of their eyes.
Yeah. I sent you that document.
Yeah, I read the article that you sent me. Yes. It was interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And there was, I forget how many years ago, but a number of years ago, there was a video that was released of an alien autopsy. And, people still don't know, was that a genuine video released? Some people think yes, some people think no, as to whether it was a genuine alien autopsy video. But in that alien autopsy video, the beings look like EBE1s to me. They look more like humans with differences. So those are, that's my guess, those EBE1s. But the EBE2s, they are more like what we would often describe as greys or call greys. Mm-hmm. They are 4 or 5 feet tall, gray skin, and they have sort of a classic alien looking head. And it is the EBE2s that since that time, over the decades, they have been referred to more and more as not just EBE, but Eben. Mm-hmm. And when people talk about Ebens, it's that second species that they're talking about. And that description of EBE2s, Laura, does that match the appearance of the Ebens that you have connected with? Absolutely does.
The black eyes, the odd shape, long, the bigger, larger cranium, about 5 feet, very skinny, 3 little fingers, but there's an extender thumb, but it's a lot longer in a sense with their hands. They look very fragile, but they're not. But that's an identical description of how I see, how Jean-Luc has presented himself to me. I did do a sketch of him. I'm not that great at drawing, but that's pretty much what it looks like to me.
I think you're very good at drawing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, would you mind? I know that you've described this before to people on this show, but would you mind recapping for people who maybe haven't heard you describe this experience? When we were in a Zoom meeting, and I think we were reaching out to the Galactic Council. We were meditating. We were astrally projecting to the Galactic Council, this council of different beings, and we were not trying, I don't think, to connect with any particular species, but that was the time when the Eben that stepped forwards. Yes. Would you mind going through that again?
Sure. This was a very strange and emotional time for me on this particular meeting. We started doing our meditation. getting ready to go near the ship, the galactic ship, and another ship came in, a saucer. It came in. As a matter of fact, you at the end of the meeting even said you saw that same saucer-shaped silver ship come in. Well, I saw the ship, and the next thing I know, right in front of my face was this Eben. And he was just there was no looking around him. He was, you need to look at me. And when I really looked at him, I was shown the end of the world in steps, how it's going to work, how everything is going to be, and how horrible it was. And it is still an emotional thing for me. It really, really is. I've gotten better at handling it. Because I would break down like I'm trying right now, because nobody understands that planet vision that I have here. So it's hard to describe, but
I've got the images you sent me, so I will put them up one at a time.
Yeah, that's the mountains, everything gone. That's just burning. The sky and the mountain, you can't tell where the ground is to the sky because everything is just burning. There's nothing there. And the cities just on fire. And again, you can't tell which the fire is up in the sky or is the fire on the ground.
Yeah.
And that is really at what we'll say the stage where you'll see where it's all burning. There's no protection of the earth. It has to do with the sun as well, but we're a part of the problem. We're the main part of this problem. And the earth itself it's to the point of total death at this point in this stage. And that's the final stage. It's almost as though it's eaten itself. It's just totally destroyed.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were shown a vision of this planet where intense heat was basically destroying life on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why do you think you were shown that?
Because we are warring. There's a lot of nuclear weapons. There's pollution, the ecosystem's being destroyed still. There's still not enough being done to slow this. Actually, it's in such a process. All of us have to stop. Yeah. It can't be just a few. That's how far we've gone with it.
Yeah.
The scariest part, the most frightening part is the nuclear weapons that all of these countries have, the war. So it's imperative. Peace is, love is the process of all of this, and learning of each other's differences, no matter what. We don't have to come to those terms of war, but those visions were, and the word I hear, and I still hear it from Jean-Luc, is this is your possibility. This is a possibility. Yeah. It's a warning. And I have to say again to everyone, I can't stress it enough. But this is how I met Jean-Luc, through this vision. And later on, yes, that's Jean-Luc. Jean-Luc. Yeah, that's how he looked when he came up to me. It's imprinted, that's just how it was. And if you could build him as the way as he's described, even in the article description, you'd realize how tiny he is. But mentally, they are very loving. They have personality. One I did not think at first when I first met him. It was frightening. I had to ask in meditation when I meditate to draw, why did you show me that? And I did hear, because this is part of your job, you can do this. You can handle it, and we're going to help you handle this. This is something that needs to be done. And ever since then, I've been having a relationship. He's I can literally walk around, close my eyes, or just about go to sleep, and I can actually sense him around me. That's how close we've gotten. And one day in meditation, I never knew his name. It took a while. I said, well, I really would like to call you something. Do you have a name? And I actually got the sense of chuckling, like laughter. And I heard, I like Star Trek. And I'm thinking, okay, wait a second now. Am I making this up? And no, I like Jean-Luc Picard. And that went over and over. Jean-Luc Picard. I like Jean-Luc Picard. Over and over in my head. So finally I said, all right, your name is Jean-Luc Picard. And later on, we're doing some pictures. I'm doing some pictures with him. I'm drawing. And I said, well, how would you like for me to put you in the picture? What would you like? And he says, well, I am a captain, just like Jean-Luc. So put me in my ship, in my chair. And I drew a picture of him in his ship. But I think it's funny that like I said, they have a sense of humor. He likes Star Trek.
Yeah. So, that's an amazing thing, an amazing image to think of in one's mind of these aliens on board their craft on a monitor somewhere, perhaps, watching Star Trek.
Right.
Well, Star Trek: The Next Generation, at least. That's cool. And they not only do they watch Star Trek, he's saying he likes the character of Jean-Luc Picard. Mm-hmm. And so that gives Jean-Luc here a level of humanity, I suppose, a level of comprehension of the character. So, they're not so alien that they don't appreciate our TV.
It helps me associate with who his actual character is.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I understand it. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. And so he showed you a possible future. Mm-hmm. And changing air pressure. That's what happens when.
Your voice has been going in and out a lot. I don't know if it will happen. We'll be seen later on. But yeah, you've been going a lot.
They're here. And when do you see them around me right now or not?
No, I don't, but I know that they are with you because they've been with me most of the day. They've been messing with my TVs. I went downstairs, my TV. You remember that one video I showed you? I videoed my TV was going around and around with those spotty squares, and that's not normal. Yeah. They're messing with my equipment right before the show, actually.
Yeah, they mess with your equipment a lot, it seems. So Jean-Luc showed you a vision of a future in which global warming, nuclear weapons become so serious that it's catastrophic. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not a hard future for us to believe might be true, because certainly the science of global warming is moving us rapidly in that direction. And more and more and more, the consequences of climate change are being seen around the world. They're being seen in this country right now. A lot of people I know, I was telling you before this show started, it was a month ago that I was in Asheville, and I hosted a alien contact event in Asheville, in one of the parks in Asheville. And it was a wonderful event, high energy, really nice people. And everything in Asheville seemed fine and normal, but 1 month later, and it's pretty much destroyed. Mm-hmm. And, I'm a scientist. We can know what we can know, and we can know that the increase in severe weather is causing more wildfires than used to be, more catastrophic hurricanes, tornadoes, things like that, flooding, weather conditions than there used to be. What we're doing is just briefly, I'm not going to go into a long lecture about this, but when we put certain gases into the atmosphere, certain gases that cause the that prevent heat from escaping up into space. So the sun shines on the ground, heats up the ground radiates heat back upwards. Usually most of that heat can leave, but this blanket of greenhouse gases that we're putting up into the atmosphere is acting like a blanket. It's reflecting while it's absorbing and then re-emitting the heat back down, a lot of the heat back down, and it is heating up the planet. And these gases are gases that we haven't had in our atmosphere for 15 million years or more. And so we're heating the planet back up to where it used to be. And so that, yeah, this is causing climate change. And we are going to keep turning back the clock on our atmosphere, how it used to be millions of years ago. And, you know, it started off at about 448 degrees Fahrenheit on this planet. That's what's natural to this planet. And we're pushing backwards. We're not going to get all the way back there before we destroy ourselves. But this is a problem. And we need to get on top of this. And there are good people out there, a lot of good people out there who just don't understand that when they, say, purchase this product, they're contributing enormously to climate change. They don't understand that when you support fossil fuel industry in any way, when we don't move towards green, clean, renewable energy resources, then we're really contributing strongly to this problem. And it's a problem for humans, and it's a problem for all of the species on this planet. Scientifically, we've already noticed that the extinction rate is well above normal sort of background extinction rate of species on this planet. And so, you know, I don't want to turn this into a big lecture about climate change, but the message is clear. Jean-Luc's message is clear. Climate change is a problem. He calls it a possible future. Yeah. Right now, it's a probable future, but that's still possible. But it is possible that we can avert such catastrophic climate change. But it's going to take every single person who hears this story to start doing the right thing. The problem is, when I talk about the science of climate change, it can sound to people like just any other belief system. Unless you work through a little bit of the science and you fully understand it, it can sound like, well, you know, Rupert's saying one thing, but that politician over there is saying another thing. That reporter over there is saying another thing. Well, that's an obstacle. So if people are interested in learning the truths about this, then please contact me. Please contact me and ask, where is it that I can go to learn about this stuff? If you're a good person, and you would like to, and if you're willing to consider making some lifestyle changes in order to prevent the future that you've just showed us, Laura, you've just told us about. If you're a good person and you may be willing to consider making changes, then please send me a message and I'll direct you to a place where you can assist us in making a difference. It's going to take widespread change before we can solve those big problems.
It definitely does. This is, Jean-Luc message is very clear that we need to change, and we know how. We all do know the things that should be changed, the smallest of them especially. And it reminds me of my experience this summer that I had with my dear friend Karen in Kauai. That island. Now we really can learn from that part of our country. There was something that was kind of everywhere. There was statements. One statement said that this was not America. And I'm not saying this to offend anybody, but what I understand why it was there is they have this thing called the Kauai spirit, where everything is treated as though it is alive. There are so many rules and so many laws placed to keep the environment at its 100% natural state. And it's simple and easy to do. We go into a store, not a single store we ever went into, there were no bags. You either brought your own or you walked out with it in your hands, no matter where you were. It was amazing. Even in restaurants, even though there were really no real walls up, believe it or not, but the animals and the humans, even in a restaurant, were with each other, where they were together, but they weren't bothering one another. There was an ecosystem that was very balanced. And weren't allowed to feed these animals. You would think, well, how are they not getting in your plate? The birds are flying, but they weren't. I can't explain it. The balance was incredible. So, I mean, if we can learn from Kauai Island, I think Hawaii, I'm sure the rest, I have not been to Honolulu or any of those other places. I'm sure they do the same thing, but that island, you will make a big change in the whole world just by applying just a few of their rules. They made sure that you can't bring anything there because it will mess up the balance of the ecosystem, like a plant or an animal, and vice versa. That's important. And a lot of us, I think, it's not that we're not educated. We just don't think about stuff like that because we don't travel a lot. Some of us don't. We don't do things, of that nature. So, we're kind of non-educated, I want to say, out there.
Yeah.
John Luke has a valid point about the changes that need to be made in our planet. And I know that he loved so hard to actually give a message like that to a lower species such as me, a human being, to try to say, we want to help you save this planet, but we can't do it for you. We can't step in. This is not how it's done, unfortunately,
Yeah. I know some people ask the question, well, if they see us suffering, why don't they step in and do something about it? But what would that entail? Because we're the people who are causing the problem. They would need to, in order to solve the problem, they'd need to come to our planet and impose restrictions upon us. Because we're not imposing the restrictions upon ourselves, they would need to do it. That would be like a real alien invasion movie. Human beings being restricted by a alien species, we would go to war with them.
Yeah.
So they know that even if that was in their nature to try and impose things upon us, which it's not, they know that it wouldn't work.
Right.
You can't save people from the things that they're doing from themselves. We have to stop ourselves from killing ourselves. I'm going to put this picture back up because this is the picture you drew or painted, drew, composed on your
on my phone
device, and then compare that to this picture here.
Yeah,
this picture. If I zoom in on that,
was coming down to your
similar.
home. God, it is.
And this is what was approaching my home about 3 months ago, and it's so similar to what you drew. And I wonder if it's almost like you saw into the future in a way that you were seeing what was approaching my home, as though, yes, this is a warning, and it didn't happen this time, but in the future, it
Yeah.
may well do.
I sense what you're saying, and it does look awful like a lot like that photograph. It really
Yeah,
does.
we
When
just
you first showed it to me, I just was taken back because it was like,
yeah.
oh my God, I did draw. Oh my goodness.
So this
Yeah.
is the next photo you showed me. So let's hope we don't get to this stage.
No. No.
Now, I hosted an event during my recent tour. I hosted an event in Blue Springs, Missouri. It was an outdoors contact event, and I had a good friend of mine who is a professional medium who has spent her life connecting with human spirits and helping people connect with spirits associated to them and helping people to gain insights spiritually. She's been wanting to come to one of my contact events because she had heard that people people have interesting experiences at my outdoors events.
They do.
And so
You
she
guys
came,
got to come.
yeah.
You
So she came
do.
to my Blue Springs, Missouri contact event. And when we were out there and we were meditating, she felt an energy come over her unlike anything she's felt before. And she she's more psychically tuned in or strong or perceptive than just sort of regular people. So it was very interesting to hear what she was describing. She felt this energy come over her. It filled her body, tingling, and not uncomfortable, but it felt like it was just different. Like, what is this? This is new. This is different. Then she realized that her hands that had been lying on the ground or on her lap, I think, they had lifted up like this in front of her, and they stayed there, and she just sort of let it happen, and they were up there for a while. That she wasn't getting tired, and she felt like something had lifted up her hands and her arms into that position. And when that meditation finished, she and another medium who was also there, they perceived behind us, behind the group, just 10, 15 feet away, a group of 5 beings and a craft behind them. And we couldn't see them with our eyes visually, but both of these mediums and psychics were seeing the same beings in the same place, looking the same way. And I started talking to the beings to try and find out about them. And I asked the mediums to describe the beings, and they were sort of about 5 feet tall. And that's great because that helps me sort of categorize, okay, which beings might these be? And I said, can you say the first letter of your name? And one of the mediums said E. And I asked the beings, are you Ebens? And both of the mediums were like, yes, yeah, they're Ebens. Yeah, we got a very strong response. Yes, we're Ebens. And I asked, well, what is your name? And the leader of the Ebens in this group, who was female, very gentle, kind, caring, energy. She said her name, and the first letter, the first sound was coming through D, but it wasn't coming through strongly enough to hear the full name, D. And so I said, well, thank you very much for this communication. We talked a little bit more. But I said, is it okay, D, if tomorrow I sit down with this medium and we connect with you and we have a deeper conversation? And she said, yes. And so the next day, that's exactly what I did. And I had this conversation through the medium with D. And we were hearing there was more to the name. Wasn't quite sure what the rest of the name of this alien was, but it definitely started with a D. Now, I'm going to tell you, we had some quite profound communications with D, and it's so profound, so important, that we've made the decision that we probably shouldn't be telling everybody in the world about it. There are some things about what we're doing now in our relationships with different species of being that it's just wisest not to advertise it to people. But it was very profound communications. And then when we had our meeting, Laura, it was you, me, Karen, Effie, and the two mediums who were there in Blue Springs, and you were there with your wonderful energy, bringing in your Eben friend, and the two mediums were there, and the female Eben came through very strongly. And while we were there, the name of the female Eben came through, and it was Deanna. And so we have Deanna over here, and I was thinking, well, obviously these beings are telepathic. They don't have names that we can understand or hear, unless I guess we're telepathic. And I said to this female, Deanna Eben, I said, where did you get that name from? Did your parents give it? Did you assign it to yourself? And she said, Jean-Luc gave it to me. And then the medium said, and no, I hadn't realized the connection yet. And then the medium said, and she hadn't realized the connection yet. And she said, her name is connected to Jean-Luc's. And then there was this pause, and then suddenly it was like, I think it was you that said, Deanna Troi.
Deanna Troi of Star Trek. And we all said it together.
Yeah. And so we have these two. I'm going to find the picture and put it back up. Here's Jean-Luc. We had Jean-Luc and we had Deanna. And Jean-Luc has named his female counterpart Deanna after, I'm presuming after Deanna Troi.
Right. And of course, he was an empath, the counselor. And Deanna was actually working on the medium, her hands. That's why they were raised up. They were looking at their hands. I had told her, I could sense that's what was happening. And she even said, the medium, that she had pain in her hands and having trouble. And that she felt like it was feeling much better after that incident. But Deanna Troi, yes.
So it's wonderful. It's wonderful that they have that. They're close enough to us that we can understand and appreciate that they like Star Trek Next Generation. I would love to sit down and have a Star Trek party with them sometime.
Oh gosh.
I would custom make some Star Trek Starfleet uniforms for them with a badge. I would love it to see some of these Ebens wearing a Starfleet uniform. That would be so cool.
But how ironic is that? I mean, that just shows you. I mean, I didn't know them. I've never met that medium before. We never spoke, and then for this to connect like that, and of the story being of Star Trek on top of it, it's like it just blows me out of the water because I just find that
it's confirmation and it's proof.
Yeah,
and it's a really cool proof. It's one of the best proofs I think I've ever experienced, and that raising of hands thing. Am I right that you said that in either that meeting or in other meetings you've heard Jean-Luc saying to you, raise your hands?
Raise your hands. I heard him say that many times. raise your hands.
Yeah.
And I never rose my hands. I even opened up my eyes to see if anyone in the group was actually levitating their arms, just to see. Nobody was. And then when you were talking about her experience, this is before I met her, immediately heard him. Yeah, I'll tell you why. She had to raise her hands. We're helping her, we're healing her, enhancing her.
Yeah. I wonder if we can learn something from that. I mean, we have our spiritual bodies, we have our spiritual currents of energy running through us. This is a very powerful space right there. Mm-hmm. And when you hold hands with somebody, there's great spiritual energy. When you're performing a healing or a meditation and you actually touch, whether it's here or wherever it is, there's great energy. And I wonder if the making that point accessible to the Ebens enables them to do something through that energy point.
Yeah, that sounds like a grand possibility because, like you said, this here, whenever I do key energy work, that's where it comes from. We did an exercise, if you don't recall, on the ground for balancing and grounding, where we actually picked up the energy, utilizing our hands and creating the ball of energy, and getting rid of it, transforming it, and getting rid of it, and then also scooping back and bringing it back to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, very powerful.
Yeah. I, as you know, Laura, I think you've seen this happening to me. I'm being modified, enhanced, and one of the ways that I'm being modified enables me to heal more strongly than I could before, I suppose. And I'm not sure if it's going to continue to keep changing like that, but they do modify with permission people to help humanity and help this planet and help them in positive ways. And during the meeting that we had with Jean-Luc and Deanna, we need a ready room. The meeting that we had, they asked permission. Can you remember what they asked permission for?
Oh, gosh. No, I cannot.
They asked us permission. Is it okay for them to modify us? That's
right. They did. They asked permission to do that. They did not approach and just do it. You're right. I can't believe it. Let me. Yes.
And they asked permission to modify us in order that we could communicate with them better.
Much better. We are being prepared for the continuing communication.
Yeah.
It's the only way that we're going to be able to understand them. Yeah. And to handle the communication.
Yeah. And I have been in touch with the other medium, and she is being transformed. She feels it. She feels the energy changing and modifying, and she's working on it, and she's getting input from her spirit guides and from Deanna about this transition she's going through. It's quite an exciting thing. And I think that you and I are also being modified in that way, although I don't have proof of that specifically.
Right. I don't have proof either, but I can tell you everything has changed for me for what I used to do to what I'm doing now. The way I think is differently. The way I approach bug, it's different. Last night had a big, huge wolf spider. That guy was like that big around with legs span. And I don't really care for spiders that much. But I said, hey, guy, get into my cup. And he started slowly going there, but didn't go. But I scooped him in and then put him outside. Normally, it would be scream, shout, bang, 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 bang. I've changed. Even my taste in food has changed. It's like a purging, a cleansing, for making room for better energy, an expansion that's happening inside my mind. since I've actually come into contact with the mediums, I've started experiencing spirits more again. And the combination of the two between alien and spirit beings, it's a lot of energy. And I can imagine how some of them feel if they've never experienced alien being energy before. And I think I understand that's what she had not done before. So this was a whole new thing for her. So I can imagine that. I understand that transition going back and forth, having these energies come in. For me, it's like I don't see, every now and then I'll see the actual physical apparition of a spirit or a apparition of a being, but in the corner of that happens generally like a bypass, like a shadow. But I don't see things like physically, like between us, like I'm seeing you. It's different. But the energy is more impactful. I can feel it touch my body, the energy. It touches me. And last night was one of those big experiences around 3:40 this morning. I was bombarded. My room, there was something in the room. I just couldn't see it. I even turned the light on. And I still can't understand what was happening, but it was a lot of energy and touching my leg, touched the top of my head, just was watching me, just being interested in me. And I realized it wasn't, at some point, finally started realizing, okay, I had to make a discernment. That's what I'm learning how to do. Discern what this is. It wasn't a spirit. It actually was a being, an actual being that had come forth to visit. You have something going on your right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what, I wish I had your vision to see things like that, but
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I am feeling that I'm connecting more with them, and there have been on several occasions during the tour, and I've even got it on video, on several occasions during the tour, I will hear something, I will know that somebody is there, and I will turn and I will stop and I will say, whoa, and at that time, just before I say that, like I had it in one event, I think it was in Atlanta, Georgia, 3 people who were sitting watching me because I was up there talking, they all saw the beings appear behind me and around me, and they saw me respond to the presence
Right when it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that on video, so I will put that up on our YouTube channel at some stage.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's happening more often with me. So, so I guess I'm getting stronger in that, but I'm still not seeing them with my eyes open visually. But I want to continue the story a little bit with the Ebens, because the
yes.
Ebens actually, they suggested, I think it's fair to say now we're working with the Ebens. We have 2 separate lines of communication with them, open, clear communication with them, and verified communication, because it's the same communication between the 2 has been verified, so we know it's genuine. And they've given us a couple of tasks.
Yes.
And I'm not going to go into the details about what the tasks are, but they're peaceful, non-violent, constructive tasks. And they told me when and where to do one of the tasks, and I did. And in Utah, the day after I hosted an event at Skinwalker Ranch, we went into the Uinta Mountains, and I went to a place called Dark Canyon, which is where skinwalkers are supposed to have come from, which was very interesting. But I also, that evening, we went to the location of a portal, and we went ahead and accomplished one of the tasks that they asked us to do. So yeah, it's cool. We're working with them. We have alien friends. We're buddies, and it's very exciting.
And they recognize this. They recognize what you did. You know that, right? They have acknowledged it. Yes.
They have acknowledged it to you.
Mm-hmm. They've recognized it. I could tell. It's all over you. It's all over you. They've acknowledged what you've done, and I sense the appreciation, but there's more work.
Fantastic. I look forward to doing the additional work. I will just say, we had in the home that we stayed at a couple of weeks ago. Tall whites were there, reptilians were there, and not last night, 2 nights ago, I hosted an event in Las Vegas, outside of Las Vegas, in the location where the tall whites are. And you and your remote viewing team, you were online with in a Zoom meeting with a team of remote viewers in my Patreon group, and you all remote viewed in. And it sounds like you were seeing some amazing things. We don't have time to talk about all of them, unfortunately, but I will let you know that after our first meditation, I'd sent out the invitation meditation. I was standing up there talking to everybody, and everybody, we were up against a fence. So rather than being in a circle where only half of the people were looking in one direction, everybody was looking at me like I was on a stage. And then behind me, a bright white light appeared in the sky and grew bigger and bigger. And people in front of me started to interrupt me with gasps and oohs and, oh my God, what is that? And I turned around to see this bright light growing bigger and bigger in the sky like this. And it was crazy. It was like it's in the atmosphere, and it's I don't know, maybe a mile away, something like that. But this huge, big, glowing light appeared in the sky, and then slowly dimmed out, and nothing at all. And it was just so beautiful. And that's the last thing I have time to talk about. So there are a lot of stories, a lot of things to talk about, a few videos that I've taken on our tour, and I will tell all of you about some more of those things next week.
This is great.
Laura, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Bill.
And I would like to wish all of our audience members out there peace, love, and happiness. Take care. Goodbye for now.
Much love.